Welcome back here on TSL today. It's a gorgeous Wednesday at the Corporate Research Center in Blacksburg, Virginia. Hi, everybody. I'm Giovanni Heater, joined alongside Kyle Marshak, and behind the scenes today, Carter Hill chiming in from back behind the best podcast producer in the land station, as it's called here at Tech Sideline. Well, go ahead and check out the Tech Sideline podcast from yesterday for your full preview of the Virginia Tech and NC State game coming up tomorrow. We just did a position breakdown on our last segment, and now we're going to talk Virginia Tech football. We're going to give our predictions for the NC State game at the very end. First, we're going to talk Hokies in the pros. Kyle, who you got for your trademark Hokie in the pro with his big performance this week?
Yeah, Khalil Herbert was fun to watch against the Patriots a couple days ago. 12 attempts on the ground, 1 reception for 87 yards total and a touchdown, and a 33-14 win over your former Pats.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the Bears really stepped up. They kind of opened some eyes. I think they were looked at as one of the bottom of the barrel teams in the NFL, and then in big contribution to Khalil Herbert alongside Montgomery at that running back tandem, and then the passing power a couple of days ago of Justin Fields. They've kind of stepped up and emerged as maybe a little bit of a threat. Yeah. So they kind of made the Patriots look silly, and Khalil Herbert was a big part of that.
Yeah, Fields was a pleasant surprise for sure, too.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, well, my Hokie in the pro that I'm going with this week, Divine Diablo of the Raiders. Had a big game. They took down the Houston Texans on Sunday. 38-20 was the final score. He led the team in tackles with 11, 6 solo tackles. 5 of them were assisted. And Diablo has kind of been a surprise, getting his way into the starting rotation. I mean, he was really opening my eyes, especially a couple of weeks ago on Monday Night Football when they played against the Kansas City Chiefs. It just felt like he was in on every play, defensively making his impact felt, and really cool to see a very recent Hokie, both him and Herbert, who graduated and were in the same NFL draft class, making big impacts in the National Football League. Carter, why don't you give us a breakdown of the rest of them? I know for Hokie Sports, for Virginia Tech Athletics, you actually write this Hokies in the Pros article, so we'd love to get your insight.
Well, we got no webcam this time, and the reason for that is actually so the webcam got frozen in the past segment, so you guys were stuck on screen and I was stuck on screen. So, hey, it's a work in progress with TSL today. We're getting there. I do want to highlight Joey Sly. He was somebody who was 3 for 4 in field goals this past Sunday, 2 for 2 in extra points, and his long, yes, it was a 31-yarder, but he is nearly perfect on the season. He's 7 for 9 in field goals, 8 for 9 in extra points. And do you want me to keep going?
Yeah, keep
okay,
running.
So we'll keep going through it. Let's see who else performed for the Hokies this weekend. Brandon Faison recorded a tackle for the Colts. Kendall Fuller, 3 total tackles. Josh Neisman, he recorded a 69.3 pass blocking grade. Raheem Blackshear lined up as the kick returner for the Panthers for the 3rd consecutive week. Amari Barno played 3 snaps defensively. Wyatt Teller was still sidelined because of that calf injury. Dwayne Brown for the Jets, all 59 snaps, a 72.2 pass blocking grade. According to Pro Football Focus, he still hasn't missed a snap this season. You talked about Diablo with his 11 total tackles. And then Terrell Edmonds for the Pittsburgh Steelers, 5 total tackles with 2 coming on his own. And then obviously guys like Tremaine Edmonds and Tim Settle with the Bills were off this week with the bye week. So another solid week for the Hokies and the pros.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, let's go ahead and give our game predictions for the NC State game. Kyle, we'll start with you. What's your final score thoughts?
Considering the defense, I'm going to make it a semi-low scoring one, if you will, 21-14 NC State. And my reason for that, as long as NC State reads what the Hokies give them, which they pretty much know what they're getting in the 4-3, they'll be able to outscore them. You know, there is a world where VT wins, but it would have to be where their offense has an all-time season performance. They're going to need Smith and Gallo to get a ton of yards and really perform. And then, you know, Malachi Thomas is due for a breakout game. So if he has a great game on the ground and the O-line does their job, then there is a world where VT keeps it close. And we've seen them perform against great teams and just fall short multiple times this season. So I would not be surprised if it was a 1-score game. Carter,
what are you thinking for Thursday night's matchup in Raleigh?
I think I gotta go NC State, and I think they're gonna cover too. What the spread right now is 13.5 still, 13.5.
Yeah. 13.
Okay, so yeah, I'll pick the Wolfpack to cover too. Chris mentioned it on the podcast yesterday, I believe, but I agree. I don't think a lot of points are going to be scored. Obviously, Virginia Tech cannot score offensively, and NC State is a pretty good defense. On the flip side, Virginia Tech's defense, yes, it has struggled as of late, but it's still solid. It's a solid group. And NC State with the backup quarterback has not been able to do much. You saw that Syracuse game, obviously. So I still think, even though with all those circumstances, Virginia Tech just they find ways to lose right now, unfortunately, and they're just going through one of those years, and they'll be okay in the long run. But yeah, I'll take the Wolfpack in Raleigh.
2 weeks ago, I'm taking the Wolfpack. I've watched NC State struggle 2 games since Devin Leary goes out on the offensive side of the football. I'm taking Tech, 14-10, the final score, very low scoring.
Okay.
And the reason I'm saying this, the offense will not score 14 points for Virginia Tech. They won't. It's going to come from a defensive touchdown or a special teams touchdown. Probably not special teams. You're probably not going to get. I mean, they did have a blocked punt for a touchdown in Pittsburgh, so they've shown that. I'm thinking pick six, scoop and score type stuff. There's no way Tech's offense scores 14 points. I think Tech's offense puts up 1 touchdown, then a defensive or special teams touchdown. And NC State's kind of struggling on the offensive side. I say they put up 10 points. Tech's win at 14-10. That's just what I'm feeling. I don't think Tech's a good football team by any means. I just think they eke one out, and a pick six or something just changes the ball game.
So you think NC State still wins that time and possession battle?
Yes, because Tech gonna go 3 and out almost the entire game.
So yeah, I mean, when you put it like that, I'd have to agree. Tech would have to score on defense, which they're very capable of.
I've said that all season long, ever since like the first couple of games. When people ask me, "Hey, Gio, who's gonna win the Tech game this weekend?" I say one the other team, but I say like, and I hate to do that. I want to see him win, but it's like, you got to be realistic. But I say, and they're like, well, what does Tech have to do to win? I was like, they won't win another game the rest of the year unless they get a defensive or special teams touchdown, because the offense is just not producing enough points to win a game. And even at Pittsburgh, they did produce a good amount of points there most of the season. And then they gave up 45 or 49 or whatever it was. So I think the only way they win games throughout the rest of the year is a defensive or special teams touchdown. And weird things happen on Thursday nights. So Halloween weekend, baby.
I can't help but agree.
All right. I think that wraps things up for us today on our second segment of TSL today. Stay tuned. Will Stewart coming up next to break down his top 5 Virginia Tech NC State matchups after this.